Welcome to another Telltale Books video. I'm Greg, and I'm going to start my Agatha Christie deep dive with her very first novel and her first published work, titled The Mysterious Affair at Styles. It was published in October of 1920 by the British publisher John Lane, and kind of interesting that Christie right away published not just her first book, but followed quickly with her second book before she ever published any short stories. Most authors will start with at least a handful of short stories in their career, and then they will go on to publish a novel. Some authors never do publish novels. They stick with short stories. But this author went right into novels. She did publish a lot of short stories, but not until after she published her first two novels. So The Mysterious Affair at Styles. This is part of her series of the French detective, or not French, Belgian detective Hercule Poirot, who features famously in the very well-known Agatha Christie novels Murder on the Orient Express and Death on the Nile. This was his first appearance. In choosing that, it draws upon Agatha Christie's experiences during World War I, where there were a lot of French soldiers that were hospitalized at places that she did get involved in. And so she did see a lot of Belgian, officers, soldiers, whatever, during the war. And so the setting here, you have a house at Styles, wherever that is, somewhere in England. And the family that runs the house, particularly one woman who is the owner of the house, she has in the past tended to wounded Belgians. And so she had previously met Poirot when he was there during the war. So you have a number of people at her house, friends and family and the servants, and Poirot comes, and I forget exactly why they were all there, but the woman, and again, I'm so terrible with names, I didn't write it down. I don't remember what her name was, but the woman who owns the house, the matriarch of the family, she turns up dead. And the immediate determination is that she was poisoned. The rest of the novel, of course, goes through Poirot's logic and investigations and theories about just who murdered her and how. And so you go through all the details of the poison that was used and how it would have affected her, and details of how long the poison would take to react, and all these other kinds of things, until you finally do get the resolution of the story. You find out who done it. So this is very much a traditional detective whodunit. A story that's been, I don't know how many times before 1920 this story had been done, but of course it's been done to death after 1920. The difference here is that it's Agatha Christie's characterizations, Agatha Christie's style of writing, her way of plotting and unfolding the story. It's pretty easy to figure out early on who the real killer is, but the details from there to the end of the story are just very enjoyable. The story is enjoyable to go through and get to the end, even though I had it already figured out pretty early on. the rest of the story was just a lot of fun to read. It was good. Christie, I think, typifies what you could call cozy mystery. And she is the master of it. Even in this, her first book, which isn't, like I say, it isn't particularly difficult to figure it out. Just the way she writes, the way she tells a story, still makes it very worthwhile to read. I wouldn't call this one a top tale. Christie had written at least 3 better novels than this one, but it is a very good novel. And for Agatha Christie fans, if you've read some Agatha Christie but never read this one, find it and read it. It is good. It's worth it. And of course, my copy, I've been collecting these Bantam black hardcover books that were published starting in the early 1980s through about 1996-97. There were 80-some volumes in this collection that were published by Bantam, and I only have 26 more to get. I've been collecting them, and there is one particular bookseller on Instagram, I'm forgetting the name, which is bad of me because I would love to give her a shout out. She has been really good at hooking me up with a lot of these books and very quickly gotten me as far as I am. So that's Mysterious Affair Styles. If you've read the book and have comments to make, please leave them in the comment section of the video for all of us to enjoy. My next on my deep dive of Agatha Christie will be The Secret Adversary, which I also have in the Bantam Agatha Christie Mystery Collection. And they all, by the way, they all look the same on the cover. No dust jackets. The only way you tell what book it is by the spine. If you look at the cover, I could hold this up and say, this is And Then There Were None, and you would not know the difference. They all look exactly the same, but they are nice books. They're well done books. They call them leather bound. I'm pretty darn sure it's just pleather, but they did a good job with them, and they are all excellent. Well, the ones I've read so far anyway are excellent books. So leave your comments, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Come on back for The Secret Adversary and all the rest of the videos we do on Telltale Books.